We have been thoroughly enjoying these 3 cute kids that Faith had several weeks ago. If you remember, she had the perfect birth at the perfect time of day with the perfect weather, and it produced these 3 cute little rascals. We did the hard job of disbudding them yesterday. It's never fun to do that, but it is really worth it for us. And you know, it's amazing how they just bounce back almost immediately and are playing King of the Hill.
They love to play on my wagon that I had a little ramp on. They kept pushing each other off, trying to play king, I'm queen. The goats are so cute.
They are so cute, aren't they? They're fun to love, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you love them a lot?
Yeah.
Do you give them lots of snuggles? But since their birth, the weather has been snowing, it seems like almost every other day. She had these kids, and then that next day it snowed. Then it snowed, and then it melted, and then it snowed, and on repeat since then. And now here we are watching the back end of Delight, and watching and listening to her moan and groan and sit like a dog. Poor girl, she looks like she's going to pop. She was the next one on the calendar to kid. But who ended up surprising us by kidding 3 days earlier than we expected? My dear little Opal. She is the smallest of all of my goats, and honestly, she did not look large at all. I expected that she would have 1, maybe 2, but I thought honestly with her first freshening, with how large or small she looked, that she'd probably just have 1. This little one, Opal, was born several years ago to my goat Olivia, and we just couldn't resist keeping her. In her first year of life, she was very well loved, but she did have a setback when she broke her leg. We carted her off to the vet and got her all casted up, and she spent several weeks in a cast. But once that was off, she was as good as new. And this year was the year for her to show us what she got. And boy, oh boy, did she show us. Technically, her due date of 150 days was on Wednesday, but on Sunday, I was startled awake by the scream on the baby monitor and raced out to the goat barn. She delivered on day 147, which actually makes sense for her miniature size. So, I was deep asleep dreaming about mountain lions. When at 4:38 a.m. I was startled awake by that pushing scream when they're starting to push. I stumbled and mumbled my way into clothes and pants and my coat, and I rushed out to the goat barn to see what was happening. And at 4:48, 10 minutes after I stumbled out to the goat barn, and 5 minutes after she laid down to start pushing, she had 3 little kids, 2 does and 1 buckling. They all came head first, but she had absolutely no problems getting them out and getting them out quickly. Look at you. Good job, sweetie. All right, I'm gonna show you something. There you go. Yeah. And look at it. And there you go, sweetie. Look at you. Look at you. Good job, sweetie. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Look at you. There you go.
Look at you guys. You don't have another one, do you? How in the world? How in the world do you have 3 in there? You weren't even big. Yeah, good job, sweetie. Good job, sweetie. Good job. Look at you, Mama. Yeah. You look good. Oh my goodness. Hello, sweetie. Hello. Let's get you to Mama. Can you push a little more? There you go. Let's get you to Mama. Up here to Mama. Oh my goodness. How did you fit all of those in there? You weren't even that big. In 5 minutes, you got that done, girlie. Good job. You got that done in 5 minutes. Look at those sweeties.
So, although it wasn't in the daylight, it was the perfect birth. She was attentive and she mothered them all really well. I was so proud of her. The day before, I had been out here looking at her udder and noticing that it was developing quite nicely. And so I knew that she was getting closer and closer. She threw a fit when I was checking her. And I thought, oh dear, she's going to be just like her mother. It must be genetic. But then she had the 3 little sweet babies and she was as patient as ever as they began to figure out how to be nursed and as I helped them be nursed. This little one here was the last one that was born and she was the smallest out of the 3. She did take the longest to get up on her feet and get strong and really wanting to start suckling and getting her colostrum. That morning it wasn't very warm. It actually began snowing that afternoon. So after they were born, I got them dried off as quickly as possible and kept working with that littlest one to help her suckle. After several hours and welcoming home the sun and giving her some Nutri-Drench, she finally got her first sip of colostrum. It is always such a huge relief when all of the kids have had their first suckle. It just makes my heart happy and I can finally relax. Isn't it so interesting that all 3 of these kids have absolutely, completely different markings? One of them is black and white, one of them is black with a little bit of white, and one of them is brown and black. And of course, the little buckling has the most bling. So little Opal had a fast and furious goat birth, and Delight is still hanging on, large and voluptuous, 3 days after her due date. When will she pop and how many will she have?
She's doing it. What are you laughing at?